everyone, it's Marissa from bumblebeeapothecary.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make beef meat stock. So first let's talk just a little bit about meat stock. I have some other videos on my channel where I show how to make chicken meat stock, fish meat stock. I'll link those below. I also have another one where I show how to make a GAPS diet soup. That's actually also beef meat stock. I'll link that one below too so you can check that out. But I'd like to do as many videos as I can about meat stock because on the GAPS diet it is so important. It's just great to know even if you're not on GAPS, just as a really great source of collagen, which is so important for so many things. And just a quick little reminder, meat stock is cooked for a short amount of time using meaty bones, and bone broth, which is a different thing, is cooked for a long time using bony bones. So we're going to make beef meat stock today, and I also wanted to talk about different ways that you can make meat stock too. You can make meat stock with meaty bones that have a lot of meat on them, and then that's like your whole meal. You drink the meat stock, you eat the meat that was cooked, you eat the vegetables that were cooked. Another thing that you can do if you're finding out you're making meat stock to use and you're ending up with a lot more meat than you need, so you have the right amount of meat stock but all this extra meat, what do you do with it? You can make something called low meat stock, and that's actually what we're going to be doing today. My other video that I mentioned before where I show how to make a GAPS beef soup is where you're making the other version where you end up with a lot of meat too. This one is going to be very low meat, so you get lots of meat stock but not as much meat. You can also do this with other cuts too, like for example if you wanted to make low meat stock from chicken, you could use things like wings, backs, necks, feet, and heads, and then you end up with lots of meat stock and then not really much meat. So let's also talk about, for beef meat stock, what are some cuts that you could use for beef meat stock. I highly recommend this book here. It is the Complete Cooking Techniques for the GAPS Diet by Monica Corrado. She's known as the GAPS Chef. That's what Dr. Natasha calls her. This is a great book. It has all kinds of really great traditional cooking techniques. Even if you're not on the GAPS diet, I highly recommend it. It's so much information. But she talks about different cuts that are really good for meat stock, and let's look at the beef ones. Beef, lamb, pork, bison, or game. What you want to look for when you're choosing meaty bones to make meat stock is meaty bones with a joint and or connective tissue. That's what's going to give you that really rich collagen and gelatin rich broth that's like jello when it's cold. So for beef, some examples could be shanks, meaty ribs, marrow bones with meat on the bone. I have used roasts with bones in them before, and as long as it's something with enough connective tissue, then that can make a really nice gelatin rich meat stock. Another cut of beef that makes amazing meat stock, maybe the best, is oxtail. I have a recipe where I show how to make oxtail soup that I'll link below also, and you can check that out. That's another great beef meat stock recipe. The bones that I'm going to be using today are knuckle bones, and these are great for a low meat stock because you don't end up with a bunch of meat, but they have a lot of connective tissue. They are a joint and they turn out really good. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just filling up my stock pot here with my bones first. The other important thing to know when you're making meat stock is to get the water and meaty bone ratio correct. If you are using too much water, it's still going to have benefits in it, but it's just going to be very diluted. So I like to have it be more concentrated. That way you get more of those benefits at a time. Chef Monica's rule of thumb for getting the correct amount is for every 1 pound of meaty bones, use 1 quart of water. I usually err on less water even than that, and that's perfectly fine. It just means it's more concentrated. Then the next thing that we're going to do is to just cut up our things that we're going to add. I'm going to start by adding 2 onions. I find that when it comes to making tasty meat stock, it's really important to add the right things for that great flavor because you should enjoy drinking it. It should be delicious. And so one of the things that I find really helps is adding enough onion. Celery I find to be really important, which we're going to add in a second. Carrots give a nice flavor. Really high quality mineral salt makes such a huge difference, both in flavor and in nutrients. And different spices can help. pepper, either ground pepper or peppercorns, depending on where you are on intro, is really important. You can add fresh or dried herbs, like I said. All of that goes a really long way in making sure that it's really tasty. Depending on what I'm making too, I'll oftentimes add bay leaves to beef or lamb meat stock as well. Since we are doing a low meat stock, so we're not going to be having this so much as a meal where we take the meat and vegetables out and eat them and then drink the stock as well, either on the side or all together as like a soup. Since we're not doing that and we're just making this kind that we're just going to use pretty much just the meat stock from, I'm leaving everything cut very big. When I make other kinds of meat stock where you do eat everything for a meal, then I cut everything smaller, but it's fast and easy to just keep everything big when you're just going to be using the meat stock. And I should actually correct that. The carrots that I use even for a low meat stock, I will still save those and use them because they are delicious. We'll eat them or add them to some other dish that I'm making. But I definitely don't take the time to like peel them or anything. I just keep it fast and easy because when you're doing this much cooking for the amount of food that it takes to heal on the GAPS diet, then you know, you want to make things as easy and fast as possible. And then adding some celery. And then I'm going to add pepper, and like I said, if you're on the earlier stages of GAPS intro, you're going to be wanting to use peppercorns. I like to put those inside a little tea strainer and add them. That way it's easy to take them out when your cooking time is done. You don't have to fish around for them or eat around them or anything. And then high quality mineral salt. I like Baja Gold or Celtic sea salt. Those are my favorite. You want enough salt. That's another thing that comes really important when having a really good tasting meat stock is enough salt. You don't want too much. You can always add more, and the more that you make it, you get a good feeling for how much you like in there, but you do want enough. And then last of all, we're going to add filtered water. You want to make sure that you have enough water to cover everything, and then we're going to turn it on high. We're going to bring it to a boil. I like to bring it to a gentle boil where the surface is moving, but not a huge angry boil where it's splashing out and boiling over. I just find I lose a lot of the meat stock that way, so I keep an eye on it. Also, as it's coming to a boil, you'll probably see some scum rise to the top, and then I have a skimmer that I'm going to use to remove that, and when we get to that point, then I'll show you what that looks like. And once we brought it to a boil and skimmed all that scum off, we're just going to put it down to a simmer and let that cook. For beef, the cooking time is 4 to 6 hours. So I'll be back next to show you what it looks like when it's coming to a boil and we're skimming. Okay, so now this is starting to come to a boil, and you can see that there's some bubbly scum starting to rise to the surface. And so I'm going to take my skimmer, and yes, it's not clean, but that's just because I also have another pot of chicken meat stock going at the same time today, and I used this already for that. So it's clean enough. But anyway, we're just going to take this skimmer and we're just going to go around and just remove any of these kind of chunks of scum that are collecting. I'll just kind of watch this for a while as it's coming to a boil and just remove these as I see them. So you might be wondering what the scum is, and that's a great question. The scum is the bones cleaning themselves. So the lower quality, less fresh, usually, bones that you are using, the more scum that you'll see. I don't usually see a huge amount on the meat stock that I make, but whatever amount that you see, it's nice to just go ahead and remove it. I mean, if they're cleaning themselves of impurities, then you might as well take that out of your meat stock before you enjoy it. So that looks pretty good. And then you can see that it is starting to come to more of a boil. I want to wait till it's breaking the surface a little bit more, and then I'm going to turn it down to, like, usually medium low is where I keep it at to simmer on for the rest of the cook time. And I start the cook time when I begin the simmering. So my 4 to 6 hours cook time will start when I turn it down. The mistake that I often make at this point is to walk away and go do something else. It always boils over whenever I do that. So I usually just try to stay and watch it and catch it at just the right time. just gonna wait for it to come to a bit more of a boil. It's getting really close. Another reason that you might want to make a low meat stock is even if you like having a lot of meat to eat, like for example, our family, we eat a lot of meat, but I'll still make a low meat stock like this just because we're to the point where we want more variety. We don't need or want to eat all of our meat cooked in liquid. We like to cook different ways, baking, sauteing, roasting, things like that. And so in order to be able to have that wider variety and enough meat stock, then oftentimes it comes in handy to be able to make some batches of low meat stock as well. Just another time when that might come in handy to think about. Alright, so we are at that point now where we are starting to break the surface. So it's starting to come to a boil, a bit more than just a gentle simmer. A little bit more of a boil than this is fine too, but for the sake of this video not being extremely long, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. And I'll put a lid on. When it's this full, I do tend to be kind of careful. Sometimes I'll put it like to the side so that some steam can still escape, but there we go. Okay, and then, yeah, some of the steam will escape and it will evaporate a little bit, and then I'll be able to put the lid on all the way as it cooks down a little bit. But a lid helps you not lose too much of that liquid as it's cooking. So then at this point, I'm just gonna bring it down to usually between medium and low, so medium-low, and then that's gonna be the start of my cook time. So then I'll just come and check on it throughout the rest of the cook time, see how it's doing, maybe put the lid on all the way if it's evaporated down enough to where I can do that. Make sure that it's staying at that really happy spot of simmering so that the top surface is still, but there's movement underneath. That's the ideal simmering temperature that you wanna look for. And then, yeah, then we'll just let it finish up its cook time, and then all you have to do after that is strain everything solid out from the liquid meat stock. So I will show you when I do that straining step later on when it's all finished. But that is how you make a beef meat stock. So the process is the same no matter what types of meaty bones you're using, whether they have more meat on them or less meat on them. Same process, you just get less meat to use up with this method, and otherwise exactly the same. Another thing that I like to always make sure that I do is to add fresh pressed garlic to the pot of meat stock right at the end of the cooking time. So when it's done, I've turned off the heat, and before I do anything else, then I peel my cloves of garlic, I put them through my garlic press, and then put the pressed garlic into the pot. That adds really, really great flavor. It's one of my favorite tips for making really delicious meat stock, and the garlic also adds really great benefits. Now, depending on where you're at on the GAPS diet, if you're more sensitive to garlic at this point or can't quite handle the benefits and healing properties from it, then you'll want to add it at the beginning so it can be more cooked. But if you're ready for this, this is really great, and it allows you to enjoy those benefits from the garlic where it's not been too cooked, so there's still more fresh and available. One thing that I like to watch for when the meat stock is done cooking, especially when there's big bones like this, is to watch for bone marrow. You definitely want to take that out and save it because it is very nutrient dense. Hopefully you found all those tips helpful. If you're new here, I have lots of other videos on the GAPS diet, lots of recipes, lots of informational videos. I also have my website, bumblebeeapothecary.com, which is linked below, and I have lots of recipes and information over there. I also have a 30-day meal plan for the GAPS diet. There'll be a link to that down below. I also have a full program that I use for coaching my clients through the GAPS diet that comes with the option of personalized one-on-one support as well. There'll be a link down below where you can check that out also. So again, I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. If you have video requests for me, leave me a comment down below. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think would find it helpful. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out 2 new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.